everyone, welcome to another movie review. I just saw Superman. It's weird calling it Superman because this is like the fourth or fifth or sixth take on this character, and it's just called Superman. Because technically the first Christopher Reeve Superman movie was actually called Superman the movie. So this is the first time we've gotten a movie just called Superman. Superman 2025, whatever you want to call it. This, of course, is the very highly anticipated reset of the DC universe once again. The start of the DCU with James Gunn taking lead and writing and directing this movie. And before I get into the movie, I'm going to go on one of my famous tangents. I saw this movie at Regal in IMAX, of course. And by the way, the IMAX, I feel like, was a lot better than normal for some reason. I know they specifically filmed for IMAX for this movie. They marketed it that way. But, like, I felt like the sound especially was, like, way more aggressive. Like, all the punching and everything. So the IMAX was fantastic. So I saw this movie at Regal, and normally I go to AMC. I finally signed up for that A-list program because I might as well. But I was very busy today, so I wasn't able to make any of the IMAX showings for the AMC I go to. So I had to go to Regal instead, which is fine. You know, I don't mind. But Regal, you guys played literally almost 40 minutes of trailers. I'm not even joking. The movie start time was 8:30. When you buy the ticket, it says 8:30, which that's when the trailers start, as we all know. The movie didn't start till after 9 o'clock. Wow. The crazy thing is, too, they were playing, it was pretty much just all, like, IMAX trailers, so, like, movies that were in IMAX, like F1, Mission Impossible, and you're probably asking, like, How to Train Your Dragon, and you're probably like, well, wait, didn't those movies come out a while ago? Yeah, they did. They're playing old trailers. Everyone in the audience was so confused. And then the How to Train Your Dragon trailer had captions for some reason. It was weird. Nothing else had captions. They literally played at least 10 trailers. Like, I lost count. It was ridiculous. They were playing trailers for concert movies, like a Grateful Dead concert movie, a Prince concert movie, John Lennon and Yoko Ono concert movie. Like, tons of IMAX trailers. Fantastic Four, of course. Like, it was ridiculous. And a lot of them had come out already. So, like, I don't understand, like, what that was about. Like, was that a glitch or something? I don't know how it works. Wow. I've never seen that happen before. So anyways, Superman. There's been a lot of talk about this movie, of course. You have the very diehard Zack Snyderverse fans. And as you guys may know about me, I did not really love that series as a whole. I loved certain things in it. And one of the things I absolutely loved was The Suicide Squad. That's my favorite movie in the whole series. James Gunn's take on that was amazing. I love it. Peacemaker as well was great, you know. I don't love it as much, but still very good. And now James Gunn, since he's done with Marvel, he's in charge of the new universe. And my big thing was going into this was like, okay, James Gunn and Superman, I don't know if that's a good mix, you know, because James Gunn is known for his quirky characters and, you know, immature humor and stuff like that, you know, which, you know, I like. It fits with Suicide Squad, it fits with Peacemaker, it fits with Guardians of the Galaxy. So I was really kind of worried about that. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, well, you know, people can have range. Like, just look at the Coen brothers. They did The Big Lebowski, and they did No Country for Old Men. Those are two completely different movies. And I'm here to report, unfortunately, this movie, for me, was just a little bit too silly. Like, you're going to know it when you see it. There are certain jokes that just run on for too long, and you're just kind of like, okay, are we done with this, you know? My best comparison is like from Thor Ragnarok, which was like perfect with the humor. It wasn't too much, you know. It was a fair amount of humor, but like it all worked. And then you went to Thor Love and Thunder, and it just got ridiculous. It was sort of like that. It wasn't as ridiculous as Thor Love and Thunder, but like, you know, if he would have turned the dial back one or two notches on the humor, this movie would have been excellent, you know, for me. It's just, you know, the tone didn't necessarily fit. But at the end of the day, you can also look at it like, okay, well, we're so used to, like, the Snyderverse dark version of Superman, the serious version. People want the fun Superman movie, which, okay, this is the fun Superman movie. But at the end of the day, the Superman character with all his integrity and stuff like that, it's like you want to have a little more serious of a tone throughout the whole thing. There are very serious moments. There are actually very touching moments, and I actually teared up at one part. You'll probably know what it is. I think I heard people crying in my audience actually, and the movie was very effective. It's just, again, it's kind of one of those like nitpicky things I have about Tarantino. Like, Tarantino loves to do the shock, violent stuff that's supposed to make you laugh. Especially later on in his career that he does. And some of it works, and some of it's just like, I wish that wasn't in the movie. Like, it just kind of, I don't know. I love Tarantino, but it's like, ever since Kill Bill, I would say, like, he started doing this in every movie. Shock, violent moments that you're meant to laugh at and be like, oh, that's so funny. Django's got it. Hateful Eight's got it. Yeah. Overall, this movie was good, though. David Corenswet as Superman, I love him as Superman. I think he's great. I'm familiar with him from Pearl. He had a supporting role in that. And I think this is obviously his biggest movie. Most people probably don't know him before this. And he did a fantastic job. He looks like Superman, He doesn't look as good as, like, Henry Cavill does, I would say. I feel like Henry Cavill just is literally, like, spot on. Looks like Superman, literally, in human form. But this guy is very talented. He did a fantastic job. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. Their chemistry was very good. I really enjoyed them. Nicholas Hoult is Lex Luthor. This is another thing that people might not like. I despised the Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthor, and that one was more Riddler-ish. This one, you kind of have the same thing. It's a younger Lex Luthor. He's, sort of like a spoiled brat in a way. He pouts, he whines, he screams. He's very whiny. Overall, I like the performance, but again, if you would just turn the dial back a notch or two, I love Nicholas Hoult. He's great. It's just, man, if I could change certain things in this movie, it'd be much better, for me at least. I'm sure there's going to be people giving this 5 stars, or 10 stars, whatever, and saying it's the best Superman movie. That's fine, whatever. Me, per se, I'm not, like, a huge Superman fan like that. I have seen the original Christopher Reeve movies. I never watched 4 because I heard it was terrible. But I haven't watched those in over 10 years, so I couldn't even tell you, like, how I would compare these movies. I do remember 1 and 2 were very good, and 3 was terrible because it was just Richard Pryor, the movie, for some reason. But yeah, this movie was good, though. Like, I'm probably going to give it either a B- or a B+. I really want to give it an A, but, like, I can't. So the basic premise of the movie is sort of like, the typical Superman storyline where you have Lex Luthor trying to essentially just get rid of Superman. He's trying to basically blackmail him or, give him a smear campaign in the media. This does take place in modern day, so you have social media, cameras everywhere, and fake news, and, all that stuff, which the movie does poke fun at. And Superman essentially is on an arc to find himself. And what I like about this, too, actually, some people might not, we're going into this universe already established. So he's been on Earth for 3 years already, as Superman, I should say. He's been on Earth for 30 years, obviously, raised by the Kent family. But they do get, like, an opening text that explains all the stuff that has happened already, which I like. I like that everything's established, because that's one of my pet peeves with reboots. It's like we have to tell the origin over and over and over again. So they did a good job in having the world feel like this is the DC universe. Like, this legit feels lived in, and, it all feels natural. And it's similar to, like, Robert Pattinson's Batman, because he's a younger Batman. He's only on year 2, I believe. And in this movie, Superman's on year 3. So, again, he hasn't learned. He's not perfect, He's not perfect yet. And the movie did a good job with his arc, I think. I think they did a very good job in showing, he wants to do things that he believes are right, but he never takes accountability for things that aren't necessarily right in the eyes of others, Which I thought, again, very good job in that department. It's just, the movie was too fucking silly in certain parts. Like, it just drove me crazy. I'm like, how do you guys in the editing room or when you're filming this or writing this not realize, like, you got to cut some of that out. Like, just, I don't know. I know James Gunn loves his humor. I got nothing against the guy. I'm a huge fan. It's just with Superman, I thought he'd, change it up a little bit. There's other characters in there I loved. I love Mr. Terrific. I don't know the actor's name. He played Darwin in X-Men First Class. Everybody remembers Darwin. And then you got Nathan Fillion playing Guy Gardner, one of the Green Lanterns, and he's funny. He's sort of like a comic relief guy. I love Nathan Fillion. He's great. You got Isabella Merced as Hawk Girl. They have little heroes in the movie because they're setting up this world, obviously. And they're all fun. I like, again, this is a very fun movie at the end of the day. But again, the balance of serious and silly was, it wasn't all the way there for me. So I want to say B+, but I don't know. I might give it a B- or something, but I'm going to be nice and give it a B+. This is the first movie in the new DCU. Following Creature Commandos, which if you haven't watched, James Gunn worked on that too. I don't have a Superman shirt, I'm sorry. So yeah, second chapter, I guess, technically, of the DCU. And because this is a universe, there are little surprise appearances in the movie. Nothing excessive, which was cool. I liked all the little surprise appearances, I'm not going to do a spoiler section in this video because, we're not at that level yet of like Marvel where every movie you have to kind of do a spoiler section and talk about like, what might lead to what, or, post-credit scenes and stuff. We're at the very beginning of this universe, so like there isn't really something super noteworthy I want to mention spoiler-wise, so I'm not going to do a spoiler section. But at the end of the day, this is a very solid movie. It's a very fun time. It was this close to being an A for me, it's just... I'm going to give it a B+, though, so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, Nothing perfect, And this is, to me, in my opinion, this is the biggest movie of the year. You could argue Fantastic Four, and some people are low-key going to argue Avatar 3 in December because it's Avatar. It's going to make $2 billion. Somehow it always does, even though people don't claim to like it. Yeah, so this is the biggest movie of the year. It's got the July release date. It's the start of a new universe, basically. So yeah, this is the biggest movie of the year. Not an A for me, unfortunately. So 8 out of 10, though, is a very good score. I think that's fair. So yeah, if you guys think I'm being too generous with the movie, or maybe I'm being too mean to it, let me know in the comments. I'm seeing sort of polarizing views on the internet right now. I haven't watched a ton of reviews yet because I'm trying to avoid things. But overall, fun movie. Everyone's going to go see it, I think. I think it did very well on opening night previews. So, yeah, it's going to make a lot of money. I don't know if it's going to hit $1 billion, but it's going to make a lot of money. So, but yeah, that's really about it. I don't have much else to say. See it in IMAX, and the movie did look really nice. It's very colorful, which I like. I'm a fan of both. Like I said, the Snyderverse, like the Snyder Cut, for instance, I love that movie, even though it's like 4 hours. I love the way he filmed that and the weird aspect ratio and all that stuff and how dark it looked. It fit with the movie. I'm a fan of both things, but I love how this movie looked very colorful and, it worked for me. I like it. I like the visuals, I guess, and the special effects were good too, I didn't talk about Crypto, the dog. Again, a little excessive the way he behaves. Turn it down like 2 notches. You could tell a lot of shots of Crypto, it's a CGI dog, obviously. But the effects overall were good, So, but other than that, I don't have much else to say. Next week, I'm going to be doing a double feature of Eddington, Ari Aster's new movie, which I'm excited for. And, I Know What You Did Last Summer, just because, I want to see it. So I'll be seeing both. I don't know if I'll be seeing both on the same day. I'm going to try to. It all depends on the times. So look forward to those 2 reviews next week. And let me know in the comments how you feel about this movie, what you would rate it. If you want to put your ranking of Superman movies, feel free to. Yeah. All right. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and have a good one. Bye-bye.